Good morning, Surgeaholic Sooner Nation. Welcome to the Sooner Surge, a podcast that tells it like it is. It's a lot of snow on the ground here. We have a virtual day. I can't get out of my parking lot yet. Out of my driveway yet, Jay. But kids are working on work, and it's beautiful outside here in Oklahoma.
Yeah, a lot of snow. I think the whole area got a lot of snow. Jen says snow days are the best. They are if you go out and play in them and sled. The snow that came down's the best type of snow because it's not just brutally cold outside, so you can get out and play in it a little bit. It's not just so bad where you can't. It's nice snow, so that's right. Snow days are the best, though, Jen says. But you have a virtual day, huh? What's up,
correct.
Steeler Man? Hey, Steeler Man, how you feeling this weekend? Steelers Ravens. Ooh, that's tough.
Tomorrow. That game is tomorrow.
Tough matchup for the Steelers, especially as they've been struggling down the stretch. But Lamar, we'll see. We'll see what happens in playoffs with Lamar Jackson. Steelers have a good defense.
What a great 5 days of football, because you had the game last night, which was phenomenal. Yes. You have tonight's game, Texas, Ohio State, Cotton Bowl. You have wild card weekend, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday now because the Los Angeles, because of all the fires, they moved that game now to Arizona on Monday night. It's 5 days of football.
If they can all be as good as last night, it'll be a great weekend. And then you got basketball mixed in with that too, so it's a good weekend for sure. We talked a lot about the game last night. Tonight you got Ohio State, Texas for the second playoff matchup. Interested to see with the weather how that affects as far as people getting there. I saw some stuff. What's that?
It's not.
Well, I saw people online this morning talking about the roads trying to get there, but
they'll get there.
You have all day to get there, and you probably are out of work anyway now, so it's easier to just go earlier. So I think that's going to be a great game. I'm sticking with my Texas pick. We'll see if it happens. But yeah, interesting. I was watching Game Day last night, and Kirk Herbstreit was talking about Ohio State's roster. Did you see that clip at all?
I did not.
Basically about and then we'll get to this, Ernie. Basically, he was going at Desmond Howard. Desmond Howard was talking about Ohio State buying players out of the portal and stuff. And Herbie said, well, they pretty much bought their own players to keep them. The only guy they really brought in big time was Will Howard, who's contributing. Everyone else
it was Will Howard and Caleb Downs. That's what I said about a week ago. They have not been in the portal much. They're not portal active a lot.
Yeah, but they get guys that make a couple guys that made a difference. Good morning, Jerry. How are you today? Ernie says, cannot believe that Jim Knowles is an option. Jeremy, we talked about this last night.
Correct. I'm going to give reasons why it could be an option and why it should be an option. First off, if BV takes a good look in the mirror, Jay, okay, and everyone listen to this. If he takes a good look in the mirror, he sees that the two OCs that he's pretty much hired, Jeff Levy, Seth Luttrell, are his guys. On the defensive side, he's hired two of his guys. Okay? Those guys were Ted Roof and Zach Alley. If he's really doing a reflection, a self-check, a check on how he's been, he might think, well, maybe I've got to get totally out of both sides of this. He brings in Arbuckle on offense, not one of his guys. And so now the only way to be consistent with that is to bring someone that's not your guy. Now, Jim Knowles would be a guy that's way more proven than anyone else out there. Arguably the top DC in the nation. Has done it at multiple places. Knows scheme really well. He actually plays a 4-2-5 mostly. Sometimes he'll play a 3-high look on defense, but he does not have a cheetah. He plays a Leo position. That Leo position is a stand-up guy near the line of scrimmage. I think Kendall Daniels fits that perfectly. Kendall Daniels actually already knows that position because he played under Jim Knowles. So there are reasons. The other thing is he gets closer to specifically some family. And I just think that, last year he did seek the Duke head coaching position, or at least was threw his name in that hat. So it's not out of the realm of possibility that they're going to go try to get a guy like Jim Knowles. He, to me, people are really worried about scheme-wise, but I don't think it's that much of a difference, honestly. And you've lost Stutzman and Billy Bowman right now, two guys who played, and Ethan Downs. These are guys who played here forever. A lot of these other guys have only been here a couple years, Jay. If you're going to change it, change it now.
That's a true fact. I mean, they got a lot of young guys, freshmen, sophomores. You're right about that. Hey, that has nothing to do with it, in my opinion, as far as if they're going to do it. And Ernie is saying, couldn't Jim Knowles get a really good? He could, but I think it all depends on. I mean, it all depends on where he wants to be, family-wise.
He's also done that.
Yes, he has been a head coach at Cornell, I believe,
and Ole Miss for a year, wasn't he?
I'm not sure on that. I just know he was at Cornell. Hey, but my thing is this. I said it last night. It's all whether or not Brent Venables, if Jim Knowles is an option, a true option for Oklahoma, I would think that Brent Venables would have to say, I'm hands off on the defense. Can he do that? Will he do that? That's my holdup. Now, he might, and if he does, hey, if he says that's great, go after one of the best. And Jim Knowles is one of the best defensive coordinators out there. If you're going to go after the best, he's one of the best out there. So, but it would take Brent Venables being hands off a lot on the defense, I think. Yeah, so I don't know. We'll see.
The question is, has BV learned from his mistakes and realized the only way I've tried this 3 years to do it this way. It has not been effective.
Wait. But when you say that, what you're saying is being effective as a head coach, because the defense has been effective.
Correct. But the best year they've had on defense was with Zach Alley, correct?
Yeah, but the defense has been good under Brent Venables. That hasn't been an issue. So you would be changing the one thing that's been good. But if you're going to bring in a really good DC,
secondary's been a weakness. Great.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. We'll see what happens. Here's the other thing people talk about. People talk about, well, why have they waited to make an announcement? Like, if it was going to be Wes Goodwin or Brandon Hall or keep going down the list.
It would have happened by now.
But, yeah, who knows, Jerm? Who knows? And the family stuff's the real thing to kind of lean in on, obviously. Where he wants to be. I think that's the big deal. I mean, you mentioned last year after Ohio State, people had talked about he might be leaving last year after 1 year there.
Yeah, look, Boomer Sooner.
He's got an exclamation. He's got an exclamation and a question mark. So I don't know if he's saying he is or if he's.
So here's what I would say. If you are in the party that says there's no chance, I would say you're wrong. If you are in the party that says it's absolutely happening, I would say no. But I would say it's somewhere in between that. There is a chance, and I think there's more of a good chance than people think of a guy like you said. If Wes Goodwin or Brandon Hall was going to be the DC, they would have been the DC by now. I mean, what would they be waiting on? Okay, they're only waiting because they have to be going after someone bigger, Jay. I mean, come on. What else would they be doing here?
Hey, let's
Hey, real quick. There are coaches, Ernie, that have been elite DCs that no longer call the defense. You realize that, right?
No, I
one of them's in the national title game next week. His name's Marcus Freeman. Okay? Marcus Freeman is a defensive guy, and he's not calling the defense there. He's not calling any of the defense. Al Golden is.
Yeah.
So, to me, BV would just be the CEO. Now, he may not last, obviously, if they don't have a good year next year, but it could be somewhere he says, man, if this is all on me, it hasn't worked out. I'm going to put all my apples in the basket of these two dudes, Ben Arbuckle, the young upcoming dude, and Jim Knowles, an absolute dog of defense who will stay up late nights, who will scheme everything, who will call things. I mean, people, listen, Ernie, that's a good one, because when Bob Stoops came on, he did not call the defense. He brought in Mike Stoops and BV. They called the defense. He didn't call the defense.
And Boomer's bringing up, and this is something we've hinted about, the fiance's in Weatherford. Son plays high school at Weatherford. High school basketball.
He's graduating from Weatherford. They just got engaged.
Got engaged in December. Yes.
Yeah, Weatherford, Yukon, all that area. I mean, that's one of the big reasons that would bring him back. Long distance relationships aren't easy.
What's up, Zias, Jenna, Great God, Jerry? Appreciate y'all joining. This is a little snow day action for a little extra Sooner Surge bonus today, as able to do this a little bit this morning. So I thought we'd get on here and chat it up with everybody. Let's do this, because it is a hot topic, obviously. Let's give me 3 pros and 3 cons of Jim Knowles coming to OU. Or do you?
All right,
do you
I'll start right now.
Okay, and hey, drop it in the chat too. If you got one, drop a pro, drop a con.
Okay, and I don't know about 3 pros and 3 cons. Here's the pro. You get arguably the best DC in the entire country. A guy who has done it in multiple places. What he did at OSU, Ohio State, he's been around forever. He's a guy who's going to be in the office all the time. It's a different scheme. So one thing I think that's a pro is it's not just BV. People know tendencies. SEC does not know Jim Knowles' tendencies right now. He hasn't been in the SEC.
Yeah,
they have elite talent. They have guys couple guys. Trace Ford, talked about what he would do. He would cut a toe off to play for this man again. So obviously, there's a lot of good about Jim Knowles. I don't know that there is a con. The con, if you're going to say the con is that BV has to give up control, I think you move that over to the pro side. That's not a con.
Well, here's the deal. And maybe if you go look at Ohio State, what did they do last year? Ryan Day, who is an offensive-minded coach, decided to go get Chip Kelly. Instead of not going to call the plays, I'll get it over to Chip Kelly.
Hey, Jay.
Yeah.
Can you talk about this real quick? And your point on Chip Kelly's great. By the way, he's 61 years old, I think. Hey,
yeah.
On his 4-2, if you look at OU's defense right now and Jim Knowles' defensive scheme, he plays mostly a 4-2-5. You look at, and that includes a Leo position. It's not a cheetah, it's a Leo, but OU's front 4 really chance to be really special. You got 5 kind of DBs. Kendall Dolby would play a DB role in that, and then you have Kendall Daniels in the Leo position. It does fit. It does fit. And Zach Alley came in, and the word was he changed the language and made it simpler. Did they get better? Did they get better if it was a
under Zach Alley?
They did get better under Alley.
They were better ranked last year. Yes, they were better defense overall.
Boomer Sooner, I disagree with you.
Here's my thing, though.
It's not possible.
Here's my thing. If we don't know this, and this would be maybe when more comes out about Zach Alley leaving, maybe, but supposedly maybe Zach Alley left because he didn't have control. So after Zach Alley leaves, Brent Venables comes to the conclusion, yeah, maybe I should be time to get. I mean, where do you think that comes into? Like, when did he get this thing? Like, let's just not call my defense and I'm going to give it over to somebody else. When do you think that would happen? After the season? He decided to just. Ernie, Jim Knowles. Listen, the Jim Knowles family stuff is he's newly engaged in December. His soon-to-be wife lives in the Oklahoma City area and has for some time. So, I mean,
it's more than just that. I mean, that would obviously be a big draw, Jay, to be back here. But I mean, again, last year I know looked at the Duke head coaching position, and he was at Duke for years. Guys, as a DC. But there's not many places in the country, and yes, you can call this sunshine if you want. I don't think it is. There's not many places in the country where you're going to go to a defense who has the talent that this defense has, okay? And they've already been making strides. And you put that, we've talked about this, Jay. You got to have the right ingredients, the secret sauce to really make the special run. I think this would be a great piece.
Well, and I want to get to McGill's comment in just a second, but here's another thing. I think it is somewhat a little naive. I know we've had an argument about that word, but naive to think that when you have really talented players, they don't go to the NFL and play the same defense they played in college, and they do just fine. You can, if you're good players, you can play in a different defense that changes it up a little bit. I mean, I don't really. It's like you're going to be tied. These guys that are out you because they're under Brent Venables' defense, they can't go play good in the NFL because it's a new defense. I think that's kind of naive. Okay. The other thing is this: Miguel says, I feel like they would give BV 2 more years regardless. Here's a thought, and this was discussed in the Discord a little bit last night. People saying, why would Jim Knowles go to OU if Brent Venables gets fired after next year? What guys? Jim Knowles is very well established. If he went to OU and Brent Venables got fired, the new head coach might say, I'm keeping Jim Knowles as DC. So, I mean, it's not like this is just some run-of-the-mill DC. If they were to go after him, he's a big-time DC.
Correct. And Jen, thanks for joining us this morning. This is why I think it's another positive. Obviously, BV can coach defense. But everyone on this chat, every night in this chat, they say one thing is BV's main strength. What is BV's main strength according to most fans? Motivation.
I don't know about that.
He's a leader of men. He's a motivator. Then let him do that. Be that guy for this team. That is what Marcus Freeman is. Look, he's a leader. He's a leader. When you have a leader, you got to put great guys in position and be able to let them take the reins. That's maybe what he's doing here. And by the way, Ernie, that's something I've thought of.
I don't think that matters at all, does it?
It's something I thought of, that if they win the Natty, does it matter? Are they going to up his pay? I mean, he would be at the pinnacle of winning a Natty. But, of course, then he could go do that maybe at another place, too. So I don't know how much that would matter, Jay.
Hey, and as far as timetable, there's no hurry on this. The portal's pretty much over with unless guys enter from these playoff teams. Recruiting's over with. School's getting ready to start. You have the winter workouts with Schmitty. That's not a coaching issue with defensive coordinator. You have some time if you're wanting to. And guys, it might be OU's going to talk to Knowles when he's done. I mean, nobody knows where they're at in this process or if it's I mean, the name has just been thrown out there. There's a lot of
get paid.
I think he's one of the highest paid DCs there is.
I want to say it's upwards of 2.3, but I could be wrong.
So, hey, we'll see. I do think when you look at, I do think it's easier to maybe to win a national championship when you have coordinators at both offense and defense that are really good, and you're not having to run one side of the ball. But it would be, I mean, similar to what Ryan did, what they did with Chip Kelly. He basically said, now I will say, he relinquished control, except maybe the Michigan game. He tried to call plays again because that's what it looked like to me, because they didn't throw the ball. Maybe he got conservative. I don't know. But for the most part, he's let Chip Kelly cook, and they've been cooking as of late. That would be a prerequisite for me. If they were to do this with Jim Knowles, to me, BV would have to be like, it's yours. This is your baby. You're a mad scientist for a reason. People call Jim Knowles a mad scientist on defense. He's really good, but you have to, and it can't even be where you come in and you feel like somebody's breathing over your shoulder. It would have to be full out range. And
Jay, he's never worked around BV. I mean, from what I read, he has been in the same conference, Duke, but look, Boomer Sooner says the salary is 2.2. So I was wrong. I thought it was about 2.3 or upwards. He did get a big raise this last year, obviously, because he went and looked for Duke's head coaching job. He was seeking things out. Would they bump it again? Here's the thing. OU could possibly use money to pay, I mean, that salary, and he would be, obviously closer to home and or where his future wife is, and and things like that. And he's going to have a really good defense with the guy that he knows, like Kendall Daniels, and just a whole lot of talent, Is Caleb Downs gone?
From Ohio State? No.
I think he's got another year, but they've recruited at an elite level. Ohio State's defense has recruited so well.
Oh, I mean, they always do. I mean, that's never been an issue with them. Hey, the other thing is this: Jeff Robertson, Greg, I put it in here. The OSU linebacker that OU is kind of in on. He committed to Minnesota, so that's not happening. He's not coming to Oklahoma. They need a linebacker. I think they still need a linebacker. I think you still need one this offseason. They're not very deep at linebacker. That's a position of need, I think. They keep signing tight ends, but go get a linebacker because they need one. Downs has one more year, sophomore. That's what I thought. Yeah, he was a true freshman last year. So it's interesting. All these guys are going to there's going to be guys staying in college football longer with this new, and they're getting ready to do maybe they already passed the 5-year rule.
5 years.
You get 5 years no matter what. So the red shirt thing will be done, which that would be awesome. If they actually come through with that would be great. But yeah, another year, guys are going to get paid big time money. You got to pay big time money to keep people. So things are changing in college football on a daily basis. And you got to keep up with it. You got to keep up with it if you're coaches. And maybe, Jared, maybe the Brent Venables stuff is this. It hasn't been ran very smoothly for 3 years. Maybe he's thinking, I got to focus on everything else as a unit, as a team 131, whatever it's going to be. I can't be, and maybe he feels, it could be something where he feels like he's given so much to the defense still mentally, and he doesn't want to do that. Maybe he's like, don't want to deal with that. I mean, I don't know. I don't know the answer to that.
Yeah, I mean, you talk about linebacker. I would like to see one more. The spring portal opened, in the spring, and you could still get a guy. But, I mean, if you look at the linebacker room, Jay, you got the two, Kobe and Kip. You got Kanik. You got the Sammy O thing, I think, is the one that if you don't bring someone else in, you have to move Sammy O. You just have to. I mean, Kendall Daniels can be a linebacker role, but to me, you want him at the line of scrimmage. His wingspan, he's 6'5". He's probably about 6'8", 6'9", wingspan-wise. He's got good weight. He's got so much, I guess you could say, so much plays in his system. He's played so long. He's wise. Now, he would know the Jim Knowles system as well. But, yeah, there's a lot to like about OU's defense. Jay, will you drop the link to the StreamYard? We're going to – and look, if you're new here, because we usually go on live at 9:30 at night, this is just something special we're doing for a few minutes this morning. The Snow Day live here. If you are new, we do allow call-ins. You keep it clean. You give us a call. You give us a take. You can see the link right there. You open that. You hit allow for your mic and your camera. Your camera, we will not show. You won't be shown on here. It'll just be your voice. But love to hear from you. Give us a holler.
Hunter dropped it in there. Hunter dropped it in there. So.
Oh, Hunter's here. All right. What's up, Hunter? Hey, AI Hunter's here. Hey, Jay. Also, everyone, check out the Fan Stop. thefanstop.com. They have a great Shirt of the Month club where you can sign up and choose your package, a package that has all T-shirts where you get a new T-shirt every month sent to your house, different design, different colors, all those things. Sometimes you also would get a hoodie or a long sleeve shirt if you choose that package. thefanstop.com. Use our code SURGE. You can see it on the ticker. You get 10% off your first 3 months. We do have a caller. It's Bobby Redwine, who's not new to our channel, who joins us all the time. Thank you, Bobby, for being on this morning special.
Right. Hey, I love being snowed in, too. This is fun. Kind of like you're back in school again.
It's great, specifically when you have playoffs and all the sports stuff on TV. It's great.
Oh, yes. Hey, I think fan input, I believe that it's important because without it, I don't think that's like BV would do the moves that he does without our input on it. Sometimes it is important. Everybody says, well, being a fan they're crazy and all that. But, our passion, I think it some of the I think Oklahoma listens. I think BV listens to what it is entertainment in a way.
I would think that they hear it. I don't know how much they care about it, but I do think every university, when there's if you're a passionate fan base and you have passionate fans, of course it's going to be negative when it's not going good and positive when it's going good. But I guarantee you that it's like out there where people hear it. But I mean, it just is. It's all over the place, right?
Yeah, that's true. Do you know when you get older? When I was younger in my 20s, if we would have lost a game, I probably have a wrist injury. I'd always when you're younger, you always get more irritated. But as the older you get, other things are more important. But it's still fun to watch and everything.
It is. Hey, there's been many times where I've slapped a table, hurt my whatever, thrown my hat. I don't do that as much in my 40s.
What I've realized is when you watch the college sports now, even NBA, even professional sports, guys are switching jerseys after the game. They're smiling. I remember just shifting my head, thinking, okay, why am I caring more than these guys who have just gone at it for they're smiling after a game. I'm all ticked off. But as far as the talk and how much they hear, I've always said I don't think we persuade players or coaches in any way. But I will say, when you do hear things, that does maybe change your perspective or at least get you thinking about things possibly. I don't know.
Right. Oh, and one more thing before I go. I enjoy this podcast without the cussing because my 11-year-old grandson's a subscriber. And, he watches this stuff. He learns a lot about, he's at the age now where he's really getting into football now, where he's 11, starting to understand it. And, he can get on here and doesn't have to worry about hearing about all the cursing and everything. So thanks y'all guys for really doing that. And it really helps, and it helps them to learn about football too.
Hey, thanks, Bobby.
Thanks, Bobby. And my sons, two of my sons watch this, and I know other teenagers watch it. And even if it wasn't teenagers watching it, we're still not going to allow the cussing because that's what Jay and I believe as well. We're not going to promote that. So I appreciate you pointing that out and giving us compliment on that.
Good day, Bobby.
All right.
Have a great day, Bobby.
Build a snowman today, man. Build a snowman. Get out there.
Hey, I forgot about Marcus James, Jay. Carl Albert.
Marcus James. I stopped it in here.
The Carl Albert pipeline.
Yeah. So. But I still think they need another depth. Just a guy for depth. I mean, I talked about this last night. I don't really want to rehash it a lot. You're 3 years going into your fourth year for Brent Venables, but two major blunders that have put OU in bad situations were Seth Luttrell hire and Ted Roof hire. I mean, you're bringing up this Jim Knowles stuff. OU could have done that when Brent Venables got hired. He could have went and got Jim. Wait, let me finish. He could have went and got Jim Knowles. Okay. Now, maybe he didn't because he wanted to bring guys like Todd Bates, Miguel Chavis, and didn't know if Jim Knowles would select those. I don't know. But I'm just saying that could have happened. Bob Stoops did that when he came out of Oklahoma. He went and he was the best defensive coordinator in the nation. Bob Stoops was. He didn't come in and call the defense. He brought in guys. He had input on it, but he didn't call it.
Jay.
Yeah.
In the end, BV is going to be questioned for his hires. You actually could question every single hire he's made. But I promise you something. If he brings Jim Knowles in, not one person.
Yeah, you're wrong. You're dead wrong. You're dead wrong.
No one's going to criticize him for the hire.
There will be a lot of people
not a chance. No one would say it's a bad hire. You would have to be an idiot to think it's a bad hire.
Jeremy, there will be people saying, why are they going to get a defensive guy when the defense has been good? There will be people say that, Jerm. Stop. You're ignorant if you don't think so. You have naivety, whatever the word is.
So bringing in the number one DC, the best DC in the I'm not saying there's people who won't be upset because they love BV and they want BV to call it. I'm saying you could not question the validity of the hire.
There will be people criticize the hire. Yes.
You can't say it's a bad hire. You can't say, for example, with Seth Luttrell, with Ted Roof, there were people saying, I just don't know about the hire. What's this guy done?
There will be people saying,
wait. The question about Seth Luttrell and Zach Alley and even Ted Roof was all, what have these guys done?
Do you want me to tell you?
This is the point I'm trying to make. No one can say, what's this guy done? That's my point.
Jeremy,
I'm not talking about being upset because they don't think they should change the scheme. You could not question the fact that was a good hire of what he's done.
Jeremy, I'm going to tell you exactly what people will say. They'll say this. Why? They'll say Brent Venables doesn't even know what he's doing. Why would they go pay $2.5–3 million for a DC when the DC Brent Venables will be running it anyway? That's what people will say.
He won't run it if Jim Knowles is here, though.
I'm telling you what people will say, Jerm.
People are saying that with Wes Goodwin, Jason. He's a puppet.
Okay, Jerm, I don't care. I'm just saying you're really naive if you don't think people will complain. People complain about what color, if the snow's not white, it's a different color. I mean, it's ridiculous.
I'm not talking about complaining. I'm talking about questioning the validity of the hire.
Criticizing the hire. People will criticize
the validity of the hire. I just explained myself perfectly. If you can't understand it, I'm sorry.
Well, it wasn't perfectly because, I mean, whatever.
And Dalpos, here's the problem with this. I agree. They need to go big. And whether or not everyone thinks Arbuckle's big or not, here's the thing. Who's bigger? Was Brendan Marion bigger? Because he wasn't proven. Dan Mullen's got a head coaching job. Like, I don't know. Whereas in this case, Jim Knowles is the top dog. The top dog. OU would be bringing top dog back. Not as a mascot.
Yeah. There's going to be people say that if that were to happen. But, hey, that's what you got to – if you do it, go with it. I mean, if Brent Venables does that and decides to just go give it up to Jim Knowles, hey, move on. Let's go. Let's roll, baby. You would have a really good defensive coordinator. You'd have to see at that point. Here's the thing. Yeah, top dog. Here's the thing. There's Brent Venables. There's no hiding Brent Venables. This is it for his – I mean, he's got to have a really good year. So he's putting it all on the line, whatever it may be. Can't hide from anything. Got to have a good year. 8-9 wins or he's probably gone. So he knows that. I mean, it's not like he's living in the weeds and doesn't know that. So, yeah. Phone lines are open if you'd like to call in. Give us a chat. Jerm, you got Texas or Ohio State tonight? I don't know where Jeremy went, but I got Texas in this game tonight. I think Texas beats Ohio State. To me, there are so many people on the Ohio State bandwagon right now, which I don't really call it a bandwagon. I shouldn't say that. Hey, the fact of the matter, Ohio State's playing one of the best out of everybody. You have Ohio State and probably Notre Dame that are playing the best. You could argue Ohio State's playing the best. That's fine. But I think Texas is going to win the game. I really do. I think Texas – I think the experience they had from last year playing in the playoff to this year I think it pays dividends.
Hey, Porter Moser's listen, I've got to comment on this because it's been abysmal. Porter Moser's regime in Oklahoma. They haven't made the dance. In a field of 68, they can't make it. In his this year, it's going back to the same thing where they can't win conference games. They lose 18-point leads like the other night. Here's what I'm going to say to this comment. I do not think it's an athletic department issue. It's not an athletic department issue. I don't know how this changes. You got Jeremiah Fears there. I'm going to compare him similarly to the way Trae Young's impact on Oklahoma. OU sold out a lot of games under Trae Young when Trae Young was there. Obviously, I do think winning does cure a lot, but I don't know what else they can do in game to make it better. You have to be a basketball fan. That's the first thing. And to me, Lloyd Noble Center is I love Lloyd Noble Center. I wish they'd play more at McCaslin. You'd always fill that up. It might make the environment better. But to me, I don't know that the athletic department, I don't think it's correct to say the athletic department doesn't care for hoops. I mean, I think they care a lot about women's basketball. I think they care a lot about men's basketball. But the fact of the matter is, OU's not getting it done. I mean, Jay, you may have a different take on this. I know we've talked about this before. Why can't OU sell out LNC every night? It's different. You got multiple games a week. That makes it harder. It's just a different thing. And I know Sue Ross says we build a new arena. The athletic department has already talked about that. So obviously they do care.
Hey, I just don't think it matters with OU basketball. I don't think they'll ever consistently have great crowds. Porter Moser, guys, has done everything you could possibly do to get crowds in there. Students are free. They don't have to pay to go to any game. You could go down the list of things he does to try to get people there. And they might show up for a big game, but they're not going to be consistently doing it. It's just not. It's not a basketball fan base. I don't think it is.
Listen, it hasn't been good over team. And whether you're the first team out of your conference or out of the big dance, there's 68 teams and OU couldn't make it. I mean, most of those years, OU could finish. I mean, you're talking about 500 in conference, which I know it's tough. But I mean, 10 SEC teams are ranked this year. But the biggest issue is the way they lose games. It's the way they lose games, and they can't close things out. A lot bad turnovers. It's consistent.
Okay, but I got to say a couple things. First off, the game the other night, the turnovers down the stretch from Kobe Elvis and Duke Miles. What do you want Porter Moser to go out there and play? Because that was awful turnovers. What do you want him? He can't do that. Okay. Offensively, they shot 54%. They had good offensive play sets. All that was fine. Okay. But here's the Porter. I want to go back to Porter Moser here. Stan says
here we go.
Hey, listen. I don't care what conference you're in, how tough it is. The Big 12 was never easy under Kelvin Sampson, under Lon Kruger. Never. They won. They made Final Fours. Even though those leagues weren't easy, they weren't easy leagues with no teams. They were still good conferences. So,
two things. I agree. Play Dayton, Forsyth, and Fears. And hey, does everyone understand? Jeremiah Fears played 21 minutes in that game. That's 1 minute over half of the game from your best player and NBA lottery pick. He played 21 out of 40 minutes. Wasn't in foul trouble. 21 minutes. Duke Miles, who's arguably your second best player right now, has been lately, played 20 minutes.
Yeah, but Jerm, that's because they don't have bigs. I mean, I think
that doesn't. What do you mean they don't have bigs? I don't care. 20 minutes from one of your best players, Jason.
I agree. He's got to play Fears more. I agree with that. And Greg says you use this word all the time, Jerm. You use this word all the time.
Moser handicaps Fears. He handicapped Emoji Gibson. He handicapped Javion McCollum. He handicapped a lot. And Porter, the comment about BV, agree. No one's on here giving an excuse for BV right now. I mean, it's been bad for 3 years. He looked better the second year when they go 10-2. They still lost to two teams they shouldn't have lost to. But yeah, Fears playing 21 minutes. You combine Fears and Duke Miles minutes and you get a game. That's sad. That's sad. Forsyth didn't play a minute, Jay.
Hey, Ernie says, has a Thunder hurt OU? Yeah, obviously it's hurt. And hey, Porter Moser, it's hard to believe this, though, when they went and got Jeremiah Fears. They could go get a big if they paid. I mean, look, they got Jeremiah Fears. How much are they paying him? They're paying him pretty good, I would think.
One is it's hard to find an elite big. I agree. If they had an elite big, it'd be a difference maker. Jalen Moore doesn't play big. He can get a couple offensive rebounds. He does not play big. He's athletic. He's all get out. He does not play big.
Well, Godwin is what Godwin is. He's a walk-on that has gotten better. But when you get in games against some of these guys, but here's the thing. They lost that game the other night to Texas A&M. The guy for Texas A&M that went off was like a 23% three-point shooter. He went absolutely off. I mean, you can't expect that. And that was pretty bad. That last three he went with two OU guys falling down. That was a bad look.
Yeah, so, I don't know what else you want to address on that, Jay.
I mean, hey, Porter Moser has to turn it around in conference play, period. End of story. I mean, we can talk about this for 5 hours today on a snow day, and it won't matter. They have to make the tournament, and they have to win games in conference play. They can't go out there and finish 6-12 in conference or 7-11. It can't do it.
And
this year.
sooner,
You got to go
sooner,
steal
Ross,
it on the road now. You got to go steal the Georgia game on the road.
and sooner, Ross. That's true. I mean, if you're a Thunder fan too, you're looking at multiple 2 or 3 games a week at some point. It's just harder. It's just harder. So, hey, what else, Jay, before we conclude this thing? What else do we need to get to?
I mean, I don't.
I'm gonna try to get the 07 Odyssey out so I can drive up and do some
Why
things.
would you get out in this today?
Run up to the school building, do some things.
Hey, and by the way, Hunter, I'm not going to believe you on that yet because I've seen it happen the last 2 years where they've gotten left out.
To me, they have to be 8 and 10, period, minimum. Quentin's here to hook them. Jay, you have Texas tonight. I've been talking about Ohio State favoring them. I do think. Look, I'm going to say this about this game tonight. I think I'm going to be right. I think Archie Manning's going to have 2 or 3 big plays. Big plays.
You think who is?
Archie Manning.
Oh, geez. What is your deal? It's almost like the Devon Mitchell with you.
I think he's going to have 2 or 3 big plays.
We got people saying Ohio State. Quentin's picking Ohio State. Quentin, come on now, bro. Are you one of these Texas fans that maybe you're a realist and think that's going to happen, but I think Texas is better than that. They're not going to get beat by 17.
Kickoff is 6:30, isn't it?
Okay, let's talk about that for a second. Kickoff's at 6:30. Remember last night, the game started at 6:30. We went live at 9:45. Game was about over, 4 minutes left. FYI, we will probably go live probably right after the game's over tonight. Okay? So it might be a little bit later. It might be 9:45. It could be 9:30 if the game ends. But I'm just saying, be ready. We'll be on tonight like our normal live show. Every single night we'll be on. I think Texas wins, not with Archie Manning, but I think Texas wins because I think their defense, if you go look at Ohio State, give me the last really good defense they played. Really good defense. Well, let's talk playoffs. Oregon? No. Tennessee? They're okay. Michigan shut them down. Now, I know they were a little more conservative, but I think Texas defense rises up tonight and they get a win. That's what I'm banking it on anyway.
Hey, there was something I was going to get to. I get it, Jackson. I get it. Man, I'm going to give a trivia right now. A trivia, snow day trivia.
Snow day trivia. Hey, by the way, real quick. Okay, go ahead, then I got to say something.
You see the comment by Ernie McCracken. We're talking OU basketball. Just drop in the last name of the most famous Ernie basketball player for the University of Oklahoma. It's very easy.
There's only one.
Ernie McCracken gives us his comment. There's one. There may only have been one. The famous Ernie, drop his last name, played basketball, was an elite rebounder for his size. Absolute dog rebounder.
There it is. Ernie got it.
Ernie McCracken gets the answer because it's Ernie Abercrombie, number 34, Hustle Hardwood. Love that dude.
Hey, I got to ask this question.
His own trivia question.
I got to ask this
Ernie
question.
Els was great. Hey, the Sony Open is playing right now in Hawaii. Do you remember the playoff between Ernie Els and Tiger Woods in Hawaii? It was phenomenal. Yeah. What do you think of the TGL, Jay?
Oh, I love it.
Love it.
I still don't understand it, but I love it.
I'm getting ready to make a hot take.
Wait,
Tiger Woods is winning a major next year.
Possibly. I think the TGL is great. I like
the
it.
Big
like
Easy, baby. There it is, Big Easy.
I do got it power forward 6'4". Yeah. I got to ask this. First is Ron says, can OU men win more than one game?
Absolutely. Moser can coach in tournaments.
Yeah, I think if they get in the tournament, they can do some damage. They could do damage.
If they get in, I think they can do some damage. The question is, will they get in? It's always the question.
But here's the thing. You have to shut it down now. You cannot get a 4 or 5 game losing streak. You got to win at Georgia if you can. That'd be
you got to get back to 500, 2-2. Have to.
Yeah, and they play Texas this week. Did you see the tip time for that game?
No.
9.
Oh, wow.
9 at the Lloyd Noble.
Wow.
You think there's going to be a crowd there that game? Hopefully the students show up.
Hey, we will be doing listen, you guys that are, go ahead, Jay.
Really, I was just going to ask something about the chat here before we close it.
Hey,
Best
we are planning on doing a softball live later this afternoon, a Sooner softball live. So if you're a softball fan, hop on, and we're going to try to do a Sooner softball live later this afternoon. We'll let you know. If you've subscribed to our channel, if you subscribe to our channel, you'll be notified anytime we drop some. So,
hey,
also
Jackson,
going to try some other things.
Jackson, some of the students whining that the game's late and they have to get up in the morning. Students stay up till midnight, Jackson. Come on,
Please, that's a
bro.
lame excuse, dude. You get in free already.
It's free. Get there, bro. Hey, I got to ask this question to the chat. Best movie with the word snow in it. In your opinion.
What's the one with Cuba Gooding Jr.?
It doesn't have to have the word snow, but it needs to include snow in it. Like, as far as like either the movie was.
What's the one with Snow Dogs?
Snow Dogs is a good
Snow
one.
Dogs?
Snow Dogs is a good one. Snow Day. You're talking Snow Day, I believe.
Oh, I thought it was Snow Dogs.
Snow Dogs is the one with Paul Walker, I think.
Oh, okay.
Wasn't he? I mean, you could include White Fang. White Fang is in the snow most of the time. That's a good movie.
Any Hallmark movie in Christmas is snow, Jay. I'll go with those.
Wow. May have a Hallmark. May have a Hallmark slot with Jim Knowles coming to OU.
Snow Angels, The Gray. Yeah, we could, Jay. Hey, thanks everyone for being on here for this special edition. We appreciate it. Hit the like before you leave. It really helps our channel just by you simply hitting the like. Turn on your notifications, subscribe to our channel, and check out the Fan Stop at thefanstop.com. It's been fun. We'll catch you later today, hopefully.